Okay, so this is going to be my first video for the Practical SolidWorks channel. Again, I want this channel to be kind of a discussion area with some interesting case studies and things like that, but until I get some subscribers and I get some questions and comments, I'm going to kind of have to supply my own content. And I have plenty of stories and things that I've done, but what I really wanted to talk about today was weldments. Weldments is one of the things that I'm surprised that a lot of people don't know about. And so what I wanted to do was kind of give a quick overview of how to use it. Weldments is a tool that I've used quite a bit in my time. And while I'm talking, I'm going to go ahead and get started here with a new part. But it's a very handy tool, not just for metal, like welded steel and welded aluminum, things like that. But I have found this to be a very useful tool for anything that gets cut to length. That could include PVC pipe, that could include rod, plastic rod, steel rod, it doesn't really matter. The beauty of it is at the end you end up with a cut list, which is really what you want when you're getting stock in at 8-10 foot lengths. Lumber is another good example of that as well. So basically I'm just starting with a part here. And I'm going to start with a sketch. And I'm going to do a 2D weldment here in this first example just to show you what you can do. And we'll just start with a basic square frame. Come on. Of course, when you're trying to sketch under pressure, you're not quite as good. So let's do a 12-inch length and let's do a 24-inch height. So pretty simple, nothing too fancy so far. So now we're going to go to the weldment section. And you can either click structural member or weldment. And what a weldment will do is it will actually turn this file in and put this little icon in here that basically has that functionality in it. If you had clicked structural member first, it adds that for you, so it's not something you have to do. But when we go up to structural member, and again, this is just going to be a real quick overview, so I'm not going to get into a ton of detail on how every little deal works, but I want to show you some creative solutions for using this tool. So if we just take a look at this, what this does is this, if you go to your SolidWorks settings, this actually points back to a file location. I have it set right now, I think, to the defaults, which is Windows, Program Files, SolidWorks, Lang, English, there it is, Weldment Profiles. And so you can see that this ANSI Eng and this ISO correspond with this here. If I click this drop down here. And these are just preloaded versions of material that come with SolidWorks. And you can add your own in here. One of the difficulties you might have is that these are admin protected, so what you may have to do is open SolidWorks and run SolidWorks as an administrator to get write access to these. I've had to do that in a couple of things, but if we open these up, you'll see that these are a file extension SLD-FLP, which is a library part, I believe. And we can open these in SolidWorks, but not from here, not from the Windows Explorer, because it doesn't have a file association for that. But in any case, let's just get back to this, and I'll go into more depth in that in just a minute. So let's just pick something here. All those options that I had, you saw in there, I have in here if I have ANSI. Or if I switch over to ISO, I've got a few choices as well. Let's just go back to ANSI. Let's just pick square tube. And then here's some sizes that I have in here as well. So we'll do one by one. And I just select my first line. Now, as soon as I drop that down, I get a preview of what it's going to look like. And I can do a couple of things with it, but again, let me just lay this down for you real quick, and then I'll show you some of the editing features. Now, any of these that are contiguous, I can just lay down as one. And this is here is a group one. It's this type of profile. And basically what it's doing is it's creating a sweep with preloaded elements. And so this is group. I only need one group here because of there's only one frame here. The multiple groups come into play when you have different things going on, and we can explore that a little bit in a little while. But for example, I can change the corner treatment here. I can make it a mitered corner simply by selecting the corners and changing it to mitered. Oops, that was wrong. I have to accept it as I go. You can also save these as defaults as well, but let's just go ahead and click these. And if I check mark that, I now have a weldment here. Beauty of this, the real beauty of weldments, and this is just a quick look at them, is the fact that I get cut list. It tells me exactly what I have right here in my tree, and then when I go to my bill of materials on my drawing, I can actually pull this up as a cut list, and it will tell my guys, you need this many at this length, this many at that length, what the material is, and of course that's all editable just like a part would be. So let's take a look at some other things we can do with this. If I right click on that structural member and I edit the feature, I can come back in here, and if I look at line 1, I can locate this profile. Now locating the profile, this is based in the library sketch, but you see these points along here. Perhaps I want this located to the inside. Oops. Come on, locate to the inside. And now what that does is it takes the line that I drew and places the profile at a particular point. And this will be helpful if you're doing a tabletop and you want them in certain places. So here I've dropped it to the bottom so that my line actually represents the top of the table. And that changes my cut list length, obviously, if I'm dragging some of these into. Now, because these are all in the same group, the profile location is going to be the same for all. If I wanted to locate them differently, I could do something a little bit different, where I could actually do separate groups. And let's do a new group. And let's locate that one to a different location. Of course, it's at the other end. Well, where did it go? Down, locate, there it is. Now, so you can see what that does is it moves this profile to the top of the line. This line is still based off the center line. So we wouldn't be able to do a mitered corner here, but you know, there could be scenarios where that would be what you want, depending on if you've got another member coming in here or something along that line. But the groups allow you some independent control. Now, another thing to keep in mind here is that if I want a different material profile, I would have to do a new group, a new structural member. So I could do a new structural member if I wanted to do, say, 2 by 2 down here. And, you know, again, this is kind of a silly thing, but I want to miter that corner, you know. And there are some other things we could do, but that kind of gives you a quick look at a basic 2D weldment setup. And before I go any further on weldments, I'll show you one other thing. Let's put this back where it belongs. We'll go to group 1, and we'll just add all these in. Now what's cool about this is, if you've used Solidworks at all, yeah, so this is a global, apply corner treatment globally, and you can see instead of me selecting each corner, I was just able to miter all of them all at once. And so there you go. There's a quick look at some weldments. And we'll get into some more in-depth things you can do with this. I've done some very unique things with weldments, and it's something that I'm surprised a lot of people don't use. And again, it's good for anything cut to length. Lumber, metal, plastic, PVC pipe, and I'm going to show you some really cool techniques for using PVC pipe here in a little bit, but just wanted to give you a quick look at how to lay down some weldments. And then we'll talk about some other features as well. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.